Welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast, where two bearded film fans watch the 50 best horror movies ever and then talk about them. My name is Luke Condo OK, and I'm joined by my regular co-host, Mr.
Ben Errington.
How's it going, Ben? You alright? Just me and you today.
It is back to basics.
I've also realised I don't really have a beard at the minute. It's more of a stubble. I'm pretty ill, and sometimes what I do when I'm ill, I like to get the hair off.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You just clean your soul and you clean your face, just because
wipe
it
your
sounds like it feels like what you both. Allowed to get the hair off. Get it off. Yeah, you feel a bit cleaner and a bit sort of like more when you're all ill and like your beard's all knotted and like the snot dribbling down it. You're a bit like
because like when you like you have a good snotty sneeze when you're super ill, you can't really get all of it out of the tash. So
no. And sometimes if a bit goes into your tash, like it could go in there and I wouldn't know about it. And until someone goes, "You got a little something just there. I don't know what it is."
In the fat
globule.
Yeah. So I had to get all that off. Yeah. Yeah, man. How's it going?
So you're feeling a bit unwell. Have you done any vomit? Have you had any green vomit?
Well, as I was watching, like at the worst of it, I was watching the film we're talking about today, The Exorcist, and I was like, "That's how I feel. Maybe I've got a Pazuzu up my pizzazz."
You got a Pazuzu up your pizzazz.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Deeply unfortunate.
You've been to the gym, right? You've just been pumping some iron just before you got here.
I pumped an iron.
Did you?
Just a singular.
Just a one.
Just a singular one. Yeah.
The right or the left?
And then the left.
Right. Okay.
And then I ate a load of food, so I feel a little bit full and sleepy now.
Okay. Good. Perfect. Before we jump into the film, then, before Ben naps one off, what have you done? Any other horror guff?
Have I done it? Oh no, I haven't done it. I haven't done any guffs. I haven't done any horror guffs. I was going to watch Annihilation, the new Alex Garland film. I was going to watch that like possibly tonight, possibly tomorrow. And I think we are going to do an episode on that. Yeah,
we'll do that next, and then we'll jump into the. Well, I think we have another episode in mind as well, and then we'll go into the top 10 and the final 10.
Yeah. Dude, exactly. The top 10. Can you believe it? How does it make you feel to think we're so close to the?
We've been doing this
final stretch.
Longer than a year now, I think.
Yeah, we have.
Is this episode 50? Either this episode is or our next episode is episode 50.
It might be episode 50.
Yeah.
That's. Ooh, it might be.
So
it'd be good if we could say if it. Yeah, go on.
I was off work and I was like. I could either do some like semi-predictive, clean the house kind of stuff, or I could just at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is, or I could put Annihilation on because it came out on Netflix today, and I just couldn't help myself. It was like Christmas morning. I was so excited.
You had to tuck into it. This is actually episode 49, so Annihilation will be number 50.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that one. It's Alex Garland. I kind of feel like some people feel like Alex Garland has come out of nowhere since Ex Machina, not remembering that he wrote The Beach.
Yeah.
He wrote 28 Days Later. He
wrote Sunshine?
Solar. Wait. Yeah. I'm thinking Sunshine. Yeah. And he wrote and produced Dread.
Yeah.
So he was responsible for a lot of that stuff. So this is one of my favourite creative dudes in the world. He's amazing. So I was so excited about this film.
What a man.
Yeah.
He's like 47 years old.
Yeah, he's not too old.
Not that that's relevant to anything, but he is.
Yeah. What else? I watched Phantasm again. I've seen that a few times now. Have you seen Phantasm? You might. You'll know like
maybe
the visuals of it. It's got
with the guy and the
floating silver.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Floating ball bearings.
Yeah, it'd be worth doing an episode on that at some point because it does feel when you kind of feel like think of 80s horror that you maybe shouldn't have been watching. There's some kind of icky about it. This is what comes to mind for me. It's an interesting one, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's particularly amazing. It doesn't really make that much sense, but it's pretty fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. And I also watched Dial M for Murder, which is another Hitchcock film.
Oh, going back to the classics.
Yeah, I don't know why I put it on. It was on Amazon Prime. My finger did the clicking, and me and Kat.
My finger did the clicking, my brain did the dicking. What?
The brain's
That's
always in
not
a bit of dicking. Yeah.
Dicking about.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty good week. I mean, I know we should be talking about another film, but Annihilation, I'm looking forward to talking about that as well. I can't wait when are you going to watch it? Tomorrow? With your mum?
Tomorrow night with my mum, yeah. And I've already asked you if there's any sexy time in it, just in case there's any awkward moments where, like, my mum will go, "Oh, I have to go make a cup of tea now while this is on." And I'm like, "Oh, no."
There is that weird bit where the man has sex with his mum. That might be a little bit awkward.
That's towards the end of the film, isn't it?
No, it's the whole 2 hours.
During that bit, I would have nodded off. It's fine. During that bit, I would have nodded off. My mum could enjoy that bit on her own.
Yeah, I think. So your mum's a horror fan. We talked about that before, right? So
yeah.
Did she said, "I want to watch this"?
I told her about it. She watched the trailer. I said it's out on Monday. I said I'll come round Tuesday. There we go. Date is set. So she introduced me to like all of my favorite sort of like horror films, or all of my favorite films really. And The Exorcist is actually one of the films which had a bit of a mythos about it because of the way my mum described it. I guess we'll get into that sometime soon. Well, pretty soon.
Why not right now? So today's film is number 11 on the list. It's called The Exorcist. It's not the TV show that's out now. I think there's a TV show and I've not seen it.
There sure is. We'll talk about that too.
It's not any of the sequels. Today we're talking about the original The Exorcist from 1973. That was 40
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Wow.
Jesus!
Yonks ago.
Nearly 50 years ago.
Yeah. It doesn't feel that old. So your mum, what's the thing with your mum? She baffed.
So basically, like when I was a kid, like my mum would let me watch sort of like various horror films.
Yeah.
But there was always like a strict rule. And so obviously I'd watch different videos and stuff, and I'd go around friends' houses and watch films. But there was always a rule, which was, don't you ever watch The Exorcist. And I was like, well, why? And she was like, because it is the most terrifying film ever. It scarred me for life, and I don't want you to be scarred by it as well. And rather than being like rebellious and going, well, I've got to bloody watch it then, I like took her words really seriously.
Better not watch that actually.
And I was like, oh,
no.
the opportunity like never arose for me to like watch it while I was young.
Okay.
But when I did first watch it, like I knew why. I mean, it affected me. I probably first watched it when I was maybe 15.
Yeah, you said this is the one on the list that you were kind of scared about.
Well, it is probably the only, maybe this and 28 Days Later, but films that genuinely scares me to the point where I watched this film alone this time, alone in the house, and I felt odd for a while after. I had to delete it from my life as soon as it done. But then I read the book as well, and I felt the same with the book. Like I couldn't really have it around. I couldn't have it like sort of like cover up
good about
anywhere near. The book is amazing. But the book is incredibly similar to the film, as in a lot of the same beats. I mean, obviously it expands on. Yeah. I mean, it's got the same name. It expands on a lot of the demon stuff and a lot of the stuff to do with the family. And obviously the priests as well. It's a great book, but again, there's something quite genuinely terrifying about this. It feels wrong. It feels like it's something we shouldn't be watching or reading about, like something horrible. Something. It feels like there's an aura surrounding it, which makes you feel like just by looking at it. I think it may be because were there rumors about people possibly dying involved in the shooting? Or was that Poltergeist I was thinking of?
There was something about this film set is supposed to be cursed as well. Not too sure why. I haven't looked into that, but
there's just something about it that feels wrong, and it feels like I'm looking in on something that's genuinely evil, and I shouldn't be seeing it. And I feel like that every time I watch it, because I've seen this film loads of times. I've probably seen this film like half a dozen, maybe even more times than that, and I've read the book 3 times.
So you're like a full-on Exorcist.
It's weird. It's not like I'm a fan of it.
Right.
It's because I feel like this with horror. When like my favorite horror films are this and 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Which
they're the ones that affect you.
They're the ones that actually affect me. So it provides such an extreme reaction
Yeah.
That it's almost like I know it's that feels like a good horror for me.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that happen in this film which could happen in a modern film, and you can already work out exactly how it would be done in a modern film.
Yeah.
And how it would be played. It would be how it would be played for scares. Whereas
this would be done like The Conjuring, right? Or maybe, I think in that universe, Blumhouse would do this.
Yeah.
Insidious.
But there's so many subtleties around the horror of this, and it's built so steadily. Do you know what I mean? The tension, the horror builds steadily, and then it's sort of like there's these tentpole moments of like visceral terror, which happen, and when they happen, it's like it puts the willies right up you. It's like the creepiest thing, and I think it's aged almost impeccably for me, because I mean it doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty close to it.
Pretty good. So we watched The Omen not too long ago. I can't remember when that came out, but as I was watching this, I kept thinking this is like the mature adult version of, because The Omen's kind of cheesy and like, you know,
oh my god,
scary things, but this like really takes its time to build. It's really dry in the way that the performances are sort of captured, and like it doesn't. Like there's a whole prologue scene with Max von Sydow's character. He doesn't appear again for the film, like another hour and a half until right near the end, and it just doesn't mind taking its time. It feels very mature. I think that's William Friedkin's sort of touch. But
yeah. So shall I do a brief synopsis?
Crack one out. Yeah.
Crack one right out. So The Exorcist is a 1973 American supernatural horror film adapted by William Peter Blatty from his 1971 novel of the same name, directed by William Friedkin, starring Ellen Burstyn, Linda Blair, Max von Sydow, and Jason Miller. Yeah. So when a teenage girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of two priests to save her daughter. Tag team priests.
Is that what it says?
No.
Okay. So William Peter Blatty wrote it. The novel. William Friedkin directed it. So you literally does give you the willies.
Yeah, literally. It puts the willies. The willies are front and center during this.
All over it. The willies are all over this film.
So so William Peter Blatty developed the film. I guess he wrote the screenplay as well.
How did he?
I don't know. I'm just having a look.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is very.
The third one. I know that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I wrote and directed the third.
It's very similar to the book. Like all the beats are pretty much the same, I believe.
This is what the guys at Empire Studios have to say. There are horror movies with infamous reputations, and then there's The Exorcist. This is a film which prompted cinema exhibitors to routinely offer bath bags for queasy patrons, which had St. John's Ambulance on standby at screenings to aid the regular fainters, which was accused of corrupting young minds with subliminal imagery. Amid the noise and furore, William Friedkin's achievements were almost ignored. How he deftly blended the religious and psychological with themes of unconditional faith and maternal love. And yes, it's head-spinningly scary. Don't forget your bath bag. It's got 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8 out of 10 on IMDb. And I think it's generally regarded as like one of the best horror movies ever made. One of the best films ever made. It's it's kept in high regard, this one.
Yeah.
So you've seen this many times then?
Yeah. As I said, probably like half. Yeah. Well, probably about half a dozen. The first time I saw it was about 15. I can't remember who I watched it with, but I remember like telling my mum that I'd seen it, and she was just like, it was like she was so disappointed in me. It was like, oh, Ben. I'm shaking my head. I even told her I was going to be watching it like yesterday. Yeah. And the first thing she said was, watch it in the daytime.
That's strange.
Yeah. She's terrified about it to the point where she will never ever watch it again. So I think she saw it when she was maybe 17. Yeah. And she said she would never ever watch it again, like no matter what.
I can't get my mum to watch films. Whenever we used to go to the cinema, she was like half asleep. Well, asleep actually, like halfway through.
All right.
Yeah.
asleep. That's annoying when you go to the cinema with someone, they end up asleep. I remember me and my dad went and watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and me and him were hyping up Return of the King. Like, cannot wait for Return of the King. It's gonna be the best thing ever. We're gonna go. Get 2 weeks to go, 1 week to go. He was asleep 10 minutes in.
Yeah, long films. 10 minutes in. Kat always gets annoyed at me because we always put films on after I get home from work, and I just always fall asleep. I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
So, shall we look at the plot?
The plot thickens.
Well, yeah, let's go to it. So, the key players, there's quite a few. Ellen Burstyn plays Chris McNeil. Ellen Burstyn is the woman, the mother of this family. I didn't realise this until I saw this time.
Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah, she's Requiem for a Dream. And I think she's the way she's like mouths certain words. I'm like, oh wow, that like caught my ear. It's like, that's the girl from Requiem for a Dream. And she gets attacked by a cupboard in this. It's like the exact scene from Requiem for a Dream where she gets attacked by a fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Max von Sydow plays Father Merrin. I guess you call him like the hero of the story, maybe. Come
on.
One off.
Damien Karras, the other priest, is the hero.
Jason
He's
Miller.
the hero.
Yeah, he's the guy on the hero's journey. We also got William Kinderman. He's like the detective. He's played by Lee J. Cobb. He's trying to work out what's going on under this.
He's a funny old bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's a big fan of Ellen Burstyn's character because she's an actress in this, which I completely forgot about. I forgot about it. I was like, what are they doing? Why are they filming this thing? Why is she living on set? It's weird. There's a guy called Burke Dennings, who's the director of this film thing. He's played by Jack McGowan. He's a obnoxious, drunk Brit. And Linda Blair plays Regan. I thought she was like, just when you see like kid actors, no matter how good they are, they're always kid actors. Linda Blair, like when she isn't possessed and when she is possessed, but I just felt like really believed her as this character. Like she just so like effortlessly put forward this performance. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's Willie Friedkin's directing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have I missed anyone out? I think that's most.
I think that's most of the main group of lads.
Yeah.
Father Damien Karras he's got like a mate.
Yes.
Who's also a
priest.
Father.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got like a mate. He turns up now and again, like, oh lads.
Yeah. He turns up every now and again to like provide alcohol or blessings.
Yeah.
Or songs. He's a provider. Yeah. He's the real hero of the story. So the film kind of opens with a prologue section. It's like 20-minute long prologue about Father Merrin. He's in Iraq looking for Saddam Hussein, I think, and he he's looking for Saddam Hussein in the dirt. So where is he? This
reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
A bit when they're digging for stuff. Where is he?
Yeah.
He's hidden in a hole eating fun-sized Mars bars. That's the truth.
Truth, yeah.
When he was found, he had fun-sized Mars bars.
What was that film? Oh, was that about Saddam or was that Zero Dark 30?
Oh, that was Afghanistan, wasn't it? I've not actually seen that. I'm not actually seen that.
I'm getting the baddies mixed up. Okay, so Father Merrin, he's on an archaeological dig for some reason. It's a hobby, I guess. And he finds an amulet, and we get some spooky music, and it's a little face, and it's the statue of Pazuzu, who's a demon.
His best mate. We're made to think. I kind of thought like they've got a bit of history here, haven't they? Because he's like, oh, hello. This little statue, I remember you little shits.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get the idea that there is a bit of that. And then it cuts to... So he finds a little amulet, and then it cuts to him in a little cafe, and some guys give him tea. And he has this other little thing that looks like another old thing he's found in this dig. And he opens it up, and it's a box of Smints.
Oh, I found this really old artifact in the thing. Oh, peppermint! It was just a box of Smints after all. Pazuzu loved them as well.
He's Pazuzu. The little thing was actually a Pez dispenser. Pezuzu.
Yeah, Pezuzu. That's good.
Yeah,
like that. Did you write that down?
Just now.
Did you write that down?
No.
Also, I know we've mentioned this already, but Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
Like, he's old as hell in this film, which is 50 years ago, and he's 88 years old now.
Yeah, so he's
how old was he there?
48? No, 40. 38? You can't be 38.
He must have been made
I'm
up.
30? Fucking hell, I'm 30 this year. If I get like that in 8 years.
He must have been made up to look old, because he looks ancient.
They got some flour.
Yeah.
Blew it, like... They got him to headbutt a load of flour bags.
he looks so old. Maybe he's just one of those people who just like ages. Like they get to like 25 and then they're just old, like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. So like Carl Pilkington says, like Asian people age like pears. Like they get to like 30 and then they suddenly overnight look super old.
I mean, it's mad, isn't it? Like some people just age. Maybe it's like Wolverine, where they're aging, but so slowly.
Yeah, and then their powers have left them, and then it kind of catches up.
Yeah, I mean, it's mad. I was thinking this for ages because I was saying Max von Sydow looks younger he was in Star Wars: Force Awakens.
Yeah,
he looks young. He looks younger in that than he does in this film from 1973.
50 years ago.
Crazy.
That is kind of insane. I like to think that he's stuck at this age now. Like he's like a vampire. He got trapped. It's part of the curse of the film. He's never going to age now.
Devastated for him.
Okay, so he's got his smints, popped one into his garb, and it ends with him looking at the statue of Pazuzu, and there's like the sunset behind it. It's all very literary and meaningful and metaphorical, and then it's like that's the end of that bit. Now the film starts.
Yep.
The Exorcist credits pops up, and then we're introduced to. So I forgot all about this because I've only seen it once when I was about 15, so I don't remember half of this stuff. So they're in Georgetown. There's a big film set around some sort of university campus or something. Chris McNeil, the mum, is a really famous actress, and she gets on really well with the director. Who's what's his name, Burke or something like that.
Burke Dennings. He's like a bit of a nutter. He likes a beverage.
Yeah.
So we're made to think. So obviously Chris has like relocated here with her daughter.
Yeah.
And the dad's not around, and they're like living in a strange house in Georgetown, which is like, is it near Washington DC or something?
I think so. And they've got loads of help around the house. And they've got like a nanny and a guy called Carl who puts rat traps in the ceilings and is a helping hand, I guess. And they've got like a bit of a, what do you call it? When you get like an actress and they've got entourage. They've got like an entourage thing sort of happening.
Yeah. She got a crew.
Yeah. They have the 12-year-old daughter there. What happens to the dad? Do we know where the dad is?
I think I think the dad's just absent. That's right, absent-minded. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. I think just like he left at some point, and maybe like they haven't. That like they're not. No, neither of them are like really like properly over it.
Yeah.
Chris and Regan.
Yeah.
Regan.
Ronald Regan. She's been playing with a Ouija board that she found in the.
Don't be mucking about that stuff. That's the first thing you say. Don't be mucking about with that at all.
Talking about mums, my mum bade me to play with a Ouija board. She said she played with one when she was a kid, and she said it scared the crap out of her.
Yeah, but see, our mums were quite caring, and they warned us about demons and shit. Don't fuck about with demons. Yeah. I don't think I've ever used a Ouija board, to be fair.
I think I did, but I can't really. I don't think it was very non-eventful. I don't know. There was a couple of demons.
There were a couple of demons
in the film,
and they pezoozed you.
Yeah.
You got possessed a couple of times when you were younger, didn't you?
A couple of times, yeah. Blacked out. It could have been the whiskey, and then so she's been playing a Ouija board. She's got an imaginary friend called Captain Howdy, and in Captain Howdy, the mum says, "What does Captain Howdy say about me?" And then Reagan's like, "Oh, that's rude, Captain Howdy. Don't say that." So obviously he's bitching about the mum or something.
He goes, "Fucking hell, come on!"
Yeah. Also, there's noises in the ceiling which they think are rats. And Carl, the helping hand's like, "No rats.
There's no rats.
Yeah.
Clean up there."
And then we get the big party scene. Now I could not not think about Scary Movie. Have you seen the Scary Movie where
yeah
the Reagan character comes in and pisses on the floor and he says "bad girl" and puts a nose in it? So that way you do a puppy. I know you're not really supposed to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Is Regan? Is this the first thing that she does?
No, so there's been a few things where she's just been acting strangely. She goes to like the doctors and says, "Keep your
dick
is this keep your fingers away from my cunt" or something like that.
Oh, right.
But she says it, and then she's kind of like just been exhibiting abnormal behaviour sort of throughout, on and off.
Yeah.
That's why Chris says that she's been ill when she comes and pisses on the carpet. But she also says you're gonna die up there to one of the guests who is he's an astronaut.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a real person?
No, like in the film, he's an astronaut. One of the guests, I think someone mentions earlier that when you off to space then? You off to space soon? It's gonna be top quality, lad.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I'm up there, going up there soon." And that's where Regan says you're gonna die up there.
Well, I didn't catch that. There's also the father who provides, we mentioned earlier, he's playing songs at this point. I think he's playing the piano, and they're all singing it.
He's playing one of the classic songs from Keane. He loves Keane. Somewhere only we know. He loves that one.
Yeah, then he rocked out a bit of Made in Blood.
Yeah, everyone's going, "This is ahead of its time."
Okay, and then so what happens next? So we get like a series of tests on Regan or something. They're she's pissing everywhere. Can we sort her out?
She was pissing out the wall. Well, we get the shaky bed first.
Right.
So Chris
is this when the mum gets attacked by the cupboard?
No, that's not yet. She's bathing Regan and then leaves the room for a bit. She's giving her a bath. Remember that bit?
Yeah.
Well, that happens. Don't just take my word for it.
Okay.
And then when she comes back in, she hears sort of like the bed moving and Regan sort of screaming. And when she runs back in, she sees the bed sort of like shaking, sort of ridiculously.
Right. Yeah.
She jumps on it as well, and then obviously it keeps shaking for a while.
Bed knobs and broomsticks.
It does look fun, but kind of terrifying.
Yeah. I remember now, because they do say, ask the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, when we have shakes, like paroxysms, like that can happen. And she's like, it was the fucking bed, man.
The bed was going ape shit.
Yeah.
Don't be mugging me off with saying, she had the shake. Yeah. So then they go and consult like a number of physicians. But it is a classic case of it being like, well, there's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. Maybe she's got a lesion on the brain, I think they say at one point, don't they?
Yeah. They try all sorts of lesion.
Yeah.
Maybe a lesion in the spine, lesion in the arteries, or something.
But then obviously all of these tests and all of this medical stuff is kind of putting Regan through more and more, putting her right through the mill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like some of the scans. Is that like a really old? Is it called CRT?
It was rusty.
Yeah.
It was rusty.
Why is that painful? Because like it was loud, like it was doing some strange thing, and then she was like screaming. Is that painful?
I don't know, maybe there's like a bright flashing light or something that she was hating. I don't know.
At the same time, all this is happening, we're introduced to...
She was going nuts.
to, what's his name? Kib... No, what's his name? The real hero of the story.
He's the real hero.
I want to say Kinderman, but he's
Karras. Damien Karras.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, so we're introduced to him and his sort of like life where he's living like on a... He's like living on a campus somewhere, isn't he? Like in some halls or something. Is that right?
Yeah, in the halls of residence. Yeah, he's the student psychologist as well, or something. As a priest. He's boozing a lot. I think we introduced his mum quickly. She's living in New York or like some sort of slum or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's running around like Rocky in grey sweatpants and grey.
He looks a bit like Rocky as well.
He does, yeah. And they say it, and the police officer says it to him later. He looks like a boxer.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's pretty nails. But yeah, we're introduced to him, and mainly at this point we explore the fact that his mum's like dying, and then eventually dies.
And she calls him Dimmy, and I was like, is that his name? Dimmy.
She's just taking a piss now. She's taking a right piss out of him.
There's also a bit where he gets on the train, which and there's a creepy homeless man. He got spare change for an old. He says like quite famous.
For an altar boy.
Yeah.
Spare any change for an altar
like
boy or something like that.
Back up. And then
he goes, get the fuck.
Yeah, he boots the guy in the face, and then he gets on the train.
It's harsh, isn't it?
So the mother dies, and then I think we leave him for a little bit because I think this is when Burke dies.
Yeah. So there's a bit where Chris is out, and then when she comes back, like the nanny isn't there. Well, the nanny just arrives home and says, "Don't worry, I left Burke, who's a film director, who's obviously got a drink. He's got a drinking problem, and he's just a bit of a nutter."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I left him babysitting Regan. Don't worry about it. Babysitting my daughter who's possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. He'll sort it right out.
It'd be right.
It'd be all right."
Obviously, it's not right because he's
then a guy just turns up, then he goes, "Oh, have you heard?"
Yeah.
I was heard.
Yeah. It's on Facebook. Saw it on Twitter. Saw an Instagram story. He's apparently fell down these stairs. Who I think are the real villain of the story. These stairs,
bloody steep, horrible stairs.
I was thinking more like walking up and down them. Right long.
Yeah, imagine carrying your shopping up there. Imagine carrying 4 bags from Morrison's up there.
I don't do that anymore. I do as the home delivery.
Yeah, I bet you do, don't you?
Can't be. It's only like £2, but I can't be doing that. Like you walking through like town with like giant shopping bags.
Yeah,
I don't know. Mums did it.
I've got an Asda. Well, I'm just going to be showing off here, Luke. I've got an Asda literally 5 minutes down the road. All right, so I don't need any. Yeah, exactly. All right, okay. Yeah. So sometimes I can go there once, maybe twice a day, depending on how I'm feeling.
We've got a corner shop.
Always reuse the carrier bags. I'm not a monster.
We've got a corner shop that I swear just has like 1 loaf of bread per day. Like if you don't get there at the right time,
right over it.
The loaf's gone. And also they don't have like proper coffee. They only sell like instant coffee. And I feel like, dude, it's 2018.
Dude, it's 2018. Okay, guys. I was in Shoreditch today.
Heard of it?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
you walk in there with your beanie hat on, and they go, "Oh, here he is."
Excuse me, you got any proper coffee? Excuse me, you've got any spelt flour?
Oh yeah.
Get off out of here.
Cat was taking the piss out of me when I really got annoyed when we first moved here, and he didn't have like ground coffee. I was like, "What, instant coffee? That's not even real coffee." And Cat made fun of me for being a London dick.
So what have you been doing then? What have you been doing?
As the home delivery.
So you got coffee elsewhere? Oh yeah, you told me that. Sorry. I won't listen. Didn't care.
Possessed again.
Possessed again.
I'm confused now. Oh yeah, so Burke, he fell all the way downstairs. Apparently, twisted his noggin, and now he's dead.
Yeah, he twisted his noggin. His noggin twisted all the way around, and the lieutenant says, like, I don't think that would have happened. Maybe like 1 in 1,000 times. So I was like, well, there it is then. 1 in 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So he goes around interviewing people, and eventually he interviews Damien Carras, sort of.
Yeah.
What does he talk about some stuff? I think is he the first person who sort of, I don't know, why does he interview him? Just fancies him, I think.
You look like a boxer. You look like Rocky.
He says, "You look like a boxer. You look like Rocky." Then he says, "What are you doing later? Want to come to the cinema with me?"
He's like, "Guess what? My first name is Adrian. Adrian Kinderman." Okay, so Burke's dead. Kinderman is sniffing around, and he says he's looking at the window, Regan's bedroom window, and then he's like trying to work out if he got pushed out the window or something. I think. And then at some point, all the tests aren't working, and they're like, "You need to get a psychologist instead."
Yeah, they're just saying they think you need to put her into like the best hospital. Yeah, and just you know what I mean. She'll be all right eventually.
And then, is this the point where she crawls down the stairs after Burke's dead?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much like immediately, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's one of those moments, right? There are so many moments in this film where, like, it feels pretty bad, but you can kind of understand the pacing of the film where you don't think much is going to happen at this stage, and then something horrible happens. Yeah. Just like really quickly or really briefly. Like they don't sort of like stick on it for too long, and it just really, really affects you. Like so apparently this spider walk wasn't in the original cut of the film. Someone on Twitter said that to me, Edward Harvey.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the original cut apparently, but for some reason it was added, or maybe it was added to a later cut. So Edward Harvey says spider walk wasn't in it, originally. The director wasn't happy with the results because apparently you could see the strings. It was included in the director's cut when they had the means to digitally remove the strings.
Yeah.
She was held up by some little puppet strings. So that bit mustn't have been there. He also says it's a bit of a jarring moment where like Regan's like out of her room, and I suppose that does make sense. Like,
she doesn't leave any other time this year, I don't think.
No,
so.
But then at this point she wasn't like strapped down, so I guess why. But that spider walk is horrible. It is horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, and like the mouse like bleeding profusely as well at the same time.
It's just these extreme visuals that like. It is just horrible. These extreme, like, violent, abrasive visuals that, like, just appear out of nowhere and last for a few seconds.
Pazuzu face as well that just seems to pop up.
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
that
happens a few times. That happens two or three times, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it also happens when she's getting interviewed by a psychologist.
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
It's just like her face is merging with it.
Yeah.
And when she grabs him by the balls.
Oh yeah, that bit's terrifying. Yeah.
That bit is horrible.
Yeah.
Because that's the first bit where I'm like, just punch her in the face.
But throughout all this like period, her face is getting more and more like broken up and horrible looking and stuff.
Her face suits being possessed because she's got like quite a low brow, quite dark eyes.
Yeah.
So that when they start applying that makeup to her, the shape of her face just makes her look really terrifying. I think
it's around here as well. The mum's at home and she hears like noises upstairs, and it sounds like two voices. So one is Regan's voice saying "No, I don't want to," and the other one is the demon's voice saying "Do it, do it,
do it."
Yeah.
I mean the voice is horrible, isn't it? I mean, there's obviously more. There's obviously more than one voice.
Yeah. Like
demon voice and that, because there's a few different accents that she does, and I think that's a lot that's explored a lot more in the book. About like what these potential personalities are, because a lot of the people who are doing these, a lot of the doctors think that she's just obviously got schizophrenia or the split personality syndrome.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing these tests to try and work out if she's like consistent with the different things and the different personalities.
Yeah.
So that's obviously part of that. But yeah, it's terrifying. Like it's horrible. Like the voice, I think the main demon voice is actually a woman as well.
Yeah, the sort of gravelly, the one where she's just talking normally to Father Karras. That voice. Yeah, it's gruesome.
I mean, it's horrible. It's like one of the most horrible sounds.
It's also very well done, like in terms of just the actress saying the words and these different voices coming out of her mouth. It's really well done.
Yeah, like obviously, yeah.
So the mum goes upstairs, and then she sees this bit really actually freaked me out, was her stabbing herself in the private parts with the cross.
Yeah. This was horrible, yeah.
And then she grabs the mum's head and pushes the mum's face into her bleeding parts.
Area. and says, "Lick me."
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so gross. I think this is where the cupboard attacks the mum as well, right?
Yeah, but the cupboard kind of just goes towards her a bit. It doesn't really like do anything else.
Doesn't like try to eat her like on a
doesn't try to eat her. It doesn't like fall or anything.
Yeah.
So this is pretty. Again, this is the moment where for the first time where her mum's been like affected physically by it, because she gets like thrown across the room as well.
Yeah. So now we're coming towards like the actual. She's possessed. Let's try and fix her. Let's try and get an exorcist.
I
think even one of the medical doctors suggests an exorcism because he believes that Regan thinks she's possessed, so by doing an exorcism she will think herself healthy again. So she finds Karras.
Yeah.
I think she's seen him knocking around before anyway, and she's like, I like that guy, he looks a bit like Rocky. I'm going to get him.
She had her eye on him. She's like, there he is.
Yeah. Karras, he's not convinced at first or something, or...
I think, so initially he's very much he's like, there's been no exorcism since whenever. Even so, the best thing you're better to do is get a doctor or get her in the best hospital possible. Because even though he's a man of faith, obviously his faith's been shaken a little bit by the death of his mother.
Yeah.
And obviously things like this he's trying to keep like a much more logical head on his shoulders rather than going, well, because I guess any experience that he's heard of with exorcisms in the past is that they've been bullshit.
Yeah.
Or that everybody involved has been bullshit, and that you've got to get permission from the church in order to perform one. And Karras kind of thinks that he's not experienced enough anyway, that they won't allow him to do it.
There's one bit that I got confused by. So he says he has holy water. This is part of his tests to see if she is actually possessed. He says holy water and he throws it on her, as if she's burning. And then afterwards he says that wasn't holy water. Yeah. So is she trying to just throw them off the scent or something?
I think what we're kind of made to think, again, a lot of this is elaborated more so in the book, is that just my opinion, I guess, and it's been a while since I've read the book. We're made to think that the demon is like quite a manipulative, sort of demon who plays games, and 1 minute will act one way, 1 minute will act a certain way. I think that's where there's like a mixture of the personalities in the demon as well.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway. But again, might be worth looking into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd like to read the book actually at some point. Like I said, I've heard nothing but good about it, so it'd be good to read. Okay, so Karras, I think, is convinced enough now, and he goes to the church, and they go, okay, we'll sort you out. We'll get you a tag team partner. We've got this guy called Merrin. He's back in the. He's only 38, but he's
seen some stuff.
Yeah, just he's got smints. He might share them. Who knows?
So he doesn't turn up just yet, does he? Karras does go and sort of survey the situation first to see just how bad it is, because he could just walk in there and there's just a girl going, "Oh bloody hell, I'm possessed," but it isn't. He walks in and even his face is like, "Fucking, what is going on here?"
Is this a bit where is it because it looks like she's vaping and stuff, like she's constantly breathing out?
I don't think that's yet. I think the room gets a bit colder when Merrin's there. Initially Karras sort of goes in and questions Sminty. Oh, so pepperminty. What's up, God? Give us one, please. So Karras goes in there and sort of begins questioning the demon. Obviously trying to get to the bottom of whether Regan's talking crap, but then obviously she starts talking backwards and talking Latin and stuff. So
and vomits on him in the mouth,
and vomits on him when he gets too close. Vomits on him, the most horrible pea soup vomit you can ever imagine. Yeah.
So and then Merrin turns up at some point after this, is it? Or
well, yeah. So Karras sort of does a little bit of research, listens back to the recordings, and some guy he goes to see plays it in backwards where it's like her saying "help me." Then obviously is the moment where he sees where the nanny gets him to come quick and see that the words "help me" are sort of on her stomach, and the little motif, the soundtrack that goes with that. I mean, that's horrible when you sort of see it, because you see it kind of forming, don't you?
It's like raises up.
Yeah. And then he does become convinced. Then he does become, at this point, he becomes convinced that she's possessed, and he believes her soul's in danger. So he decides to perform the act. I think this is officially when he gets the permission to perform the exorcism, because he's got all this evidence, and that's when Merrin turns up.
And there's that really iconic shot, I think he's for all of the posters of it's outside by the nighttime by the street lamplight, and he's there with his suitcase of Smiths.
Suitcase of Smiths and his lovely hat on and his old skin. He's 14 years old.
So they go in. Merrin is pretty much a pro. I think Karras even says, I've found there's 3 personalities, and he goes, it's only the one. So Merrin, he knows, I think he even knows it might be the same demon at some point. I'm not too sure how. And then they start the exorcism. So he gets very cold. He's got so they just start shouting at her and throwing holy water. What else? Yeah.
So Pazuzu, the demon at this point, is just toying with both of them, isn't he?
It says what the homeless guy said earlier.
Yeah, of course.
Could you help an former altar boy or something like that? The same voice and everything. Yeah. And then he talks in his mum's voice. So Karras is losing his faith, I think, at this point, or his faith is not strong enough to
can't cope with
the demon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's tags out.
We get all the classic moments as well. Obviously, like the head spinning round.
Yeah.
180,
all this kind of
360
stuff.
degrees.
Does it not kind of physically break the body? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I kind of thought that with the head.
yeah.
It doesn't seem to, does it?
No.
Because there's a lot of horrible stuff where she's got like these lesions all over like her body, scratches on her face, scratches on her arms and legs.
Seems to be gone mostly by the time she's
All right, yeah.
morning after. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like the physical body's like just a vessel for this
Yeah.
this thing to just do as it pleases, and then eventually, if once the exorcism's complete,
Yeah.
the body kind of does heal. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of horrible stuff here with the twisty head.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
What else is there? Floating.
A bit of floating.
So she rips, her restraints sort of rip, and she just floats up in the air. I mean, that's iconic, isn't it? The eyes going white as well.
Yeah.
Again, we've seen that so many times in modern films, and never has it been more effective than in The Exorcist.
Yeah, and then she starts calling him Dimmy. Karis leaves, and then he goes back in. He's dead.
Yeah, and Merrin's just sort of died.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird because we're kind of she's out of her restraints again, and she's sort of like just in the corner of the bed laughing.
Yeah.
But Merrin's died. It's not really ever explained exactly what happened to him.
Had a
Just
heart
had
attack
enough.
or something. Yeah, don't know.
Had a heart attack.
And then, so at this point, I think seeing all this stuff maybe even like reaffirms his faith, seeing that evil exists. So then he starts to beat her up.
Well, he tries to revive Merrin briefly,
Yeah.
and then obviously the demon starts laughing, so he just starts attacking her, beating the living shit out of her.
Yeah.
But then says, "Take me instead. Take me. Take me."
Yeah.
Is that as easy as it is? You can just go take
Apparently.
me, and then
Yeah.
and it'll just go into you.
Wait, it does. Like it goes right into him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Sucks
does.
it up. Maybe it likes the idea of being in a priest. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it wants a priest. Like, give me a servant of God, will you? Oh, get right in that.
Yeah. He sucks it up. His face goes all Pazuzu, and then he jumps through the window. Classic move. Jumps through the window, rolls down the steps. Oh, it's actually pretty brutal at the end. He like cracks his face.
Yeah.
We don't see his face again. We just see his hand clutching as the father who provides, singing, alcohol providing.
Yeah, that guy
blessing
he just happens to be there at the bottom of the stairs.
I'm here, and then he reads his last rites as he's dying, confesses his sins.
Yeah, there's loads of blood as well.
Wordlessly, yeah, it's bad. And then it's happy ever after. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's quite an extended ending where the police officer turns up and sort of speaks to the other priest who was Karis's friend.
They're like best friends now for some reason.
They're like best buds. They're going to lunch together, and then they sort of see Regan, and who's obviously all right now, just got some light scarring on her face, and Chris, and they say goodbye to them. Who obviously they're going back to Los Angeles after.
Yeah.
Oh, you never believe what bloody happened to us.
As they drive off, we get a final shot of the Ouija board in the back of the car. We don't. But
No, we don't. I was going to say that. Yeah.
That's what they do if they wanted to, start a franchise. Trivia. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, the first question, I didn't realise we were going to be mentioning this as much throughout the episode. Number one is, what is the name of the demon? I think we've said it like 20 times by now.
Yeah. Pez, Pazuzu.
It's Pazuzu, correct. Number two.
Good name, innit?
William Friedkin fired a gun near whose ear to get a startle performance out of them?
Oh. Chris?
Who's Chris?
The mum. The mum.
No, it was Father Karras, Jason Miller. Apparently
Fired
Jason
a gun.
Miller was very angry because he was like, I'm an actor, I can act startled, I don't need you to shoot a gun in my ear. Number three.
Talking of guns, have you heard this? This is ridiculous. Sorry, this is completely. I'm absolutely upending the trivia at the moment. So, have you heard about the Greek Football League?
No.
As in, like, what happened in the last 2 days?
Yeah.
The Greek Football League has been suspended after the club president invaded the pitch with a gun.
Why did he do that?
because there was a decision that went against his team, and loads of things were going mad, and he turns up. No, I haven't seen video footage. He turns up with like you can see his gun is in a holster.
Is it an Uzi?
No, it's just like a little pistol, and he pulled it out. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the extremes people will go to when they got a gun, William Friedkin. Jesus.
Yeah. Just don't have a gun, I think, is the best solution.
Yeah, just don't. That's a good solution for a lot of things, but
Manager
clearly
at the side, because they get really worked up. Apart from, I think Alex Ferguson, unless he drops his gun.
No, he's like club president or something, not a manager.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he was. Well,
it's nuts.
People like their football.
They love their football, don't they?
You ready for number 3?
Yep.
This is Warner Brothers' highest grossing film of all time. True or false?
Wow.
Well, is it true or false?
It is like the highest grossing horror of all time, is it not? So yeah, I can believe that. Why not?
True when adjusted for inflation. So apparently, I think it is now like the highest grossing horror movie, right? The one that we
really?
did. Yeah, I think so. But not when adjusted for inflation. Okay, number 4. Who was up for the part of Father Karras before Jason Miller landed the role?
Sylvester Stallone.
You'd think so, like the way they started the character. We need another guy who looks like him. No, William Friedkin thought this guy, who it is, was too unholy to ever play a priest, so he didn't cast him.
Oh God, too unholy.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's what you had to say. What you had to say was unholy. I don't know exactly who you meant.
When did The Shining come out?
A little bit later, I think. Was it not 79?
Yeah. That was the perfect role for him. Okay.
80.
What was the substance that Regan bathed?
Pea soup.
An extra point for if you can name the brand.
Campbell's.
No, it wasn't Campbell's. It didn't work. They tried it. It didn't work very well. So they used Anderson's. I don't think that's what we have in the UK. Yeah, you did pretty well there, dude. Now to rate the film. What are you thinking?
Now, as I said, it does create the biggest actual terrified reaction for me. So in a way, it's probably for me the best horror film ever. Yeah. Considering that, because that's what it should do. Horror films should terrify you, and this film terrifies me every time I watch it. Every time I think about it. A lot of the visuals, you know what I mean. Even then, I was googling some stuff.
Are you from a Christian background, by the way?
No.
Okay. Because I always thought like this kind of Catholic horror would be most effective for.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's so scary about this film. It just feels scarier than any other sort of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like ghosts, serial killers, zombies, everything like that. It's a bit like it's scary in one way, but it's just this. I think what scares me about zombies is that like anyone could be a zombie, your loved one could be a zombie, and I think that's kind of the same thing with this. Is that it can happen to anyone? It can happen, not obviously really, but you know what I mean. Yeah. That's why it feels, and I just think everything from the sound design to the performances to just the pacing of this film, it just really gets under my skin. And it always has, and I've always been terrified of it. So I think I can't remember what I gave 28 Days Later, which is the other film that really scares me. But I mean, in terms of being an effective horror film, which to me makes it the best horror film, I'd have to give it an A+.
Really? Wow.
Really?
Some sound effects there, fireworks going off. Yeah, I don't know. So. This film doesn't have that same effect on me. I don't know what it is. I know the idea of exorcisms and being possessed. Like some people just say, "Oh, I can't do possessed films. Like, I can do anything but possessed films." Like it's just never been something that scares me that much. I think this is a really good film. I think this is a really well-made film. Like when I think about all the films we've done, just the crafts of it just seems to be insanely good. Like,
and I mean, in any other hands, sorry to interrupt, in any other hands, this could have been the most hammy, ridiculous, over-the-top, laughable shit.
Well, I kind of feel like The Omen is the, although I enjoyed The Omen, I kind of feel like that was the more cartoony version of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an A minus. So pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right. Yeah. So
It's got to be. Is that up there with the highest rated so far?
yeah, probably.
I mean, there's no cat people.
No. Nothing ever is. So next week we'll talk about Annihilation. You could talk about, how awkward that son-mother sex scene was to watch in front of your mum.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to actually hear what you think about like the last part, because there were some really scary bits in Annihilation, and it gets pretty crazy. So I'd like to know what you think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to tell people?
No.
Okay.
Nothing else.
This show is brought to you by Hawk and Cleaver. Head over to hawkandcleaver.com and grab a free book. I'm really bunged up, so I'm really struggling to say these words. Go over to patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovac Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star rating review in iTunes. Remember to hit subscribe. Thanks to my co-host Ben for being a real horror dude.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.